I love pirate games, always have. And over the past decade, the genre has been sailing full speed ahead. Sea of Thieves, Skull and Bones, and Monkey Island have all had their moments in the spotlight, for better or for worse. And with more pirate games on the horizon than ever before, it's a great time to be a fan of the high seas. But there's one game that refuses to be forgotten by fans. It's over 10 years old, and yet somehow it still stands above all the rest. The ships, perfect. The combat, cinematic. The atmosphere, gorgeous. This isn't just a pirate game. This is the pirate game. And it didn't just set the standard, it became the standard. And today, in 2025, I'm here to tell you why it's not only the greatest pirate game of our generation, but why it's my favorite video game of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is the definitive pirate game. But does it still hold up in 2025? A whole 12 years later? That's what we're going to break down in today's video. But first, if you're new here, it would be great if you hit that subscribe button and ring that ship's bell to stay up to date on all things in the pirate gaming community. But let's get back to Black Flag. First, let's talk about the story. Edward Kenway is a fascinating addition to the Assassin's Creed franchise because, unlike the protagonists before him, he doesn't start as an assassin or even want to be one. He's a pirate through and through, and his actions make that crystal clear. He only dons the iconic assassin robes after killing one and stealing them for a quick payday. And that's what makes his journey so compelling. Watching Edward evolve from a self-serving scoundrel into a reluctant hero and eventually a true assassin is not only captivating, it's actually quite moving. His arc is beautifully written and keeps you hooked from the very first cannon blast to that last cutscene. Other than the real-world stuff, you're gonna find that in every Assassin's Creed game, and frankly, I don't even want to talk about it, so I won't. Oh, and if you're a history buff like me, there's an extra treat. Like the rest of the franchise, this game seamlessly weaves real historical pirates like Blackbeard, Charles Vane, and Calico Jack into the narrative, grounding Edward's fictional story in the gritty reality that was the golden age of piracy. Graphically, the game is stunning, especially when you remember it launched all the way back in 2013. Even with a cap at 60 FPS, the animations are still smooth and the lighting is immersive. And the world? Absolutely breathtaking. And speaking of that world, it's massive. The Caribbean becomes your pirate playground, a vast, open sea filled with danger, treasures, and endless adventure. Unlike earlier Assassin's Creed titles, most of the open world here is the ocean itself. You're not just exploring cities, you're commanding a ship. You're charting a course across waves, through storms, from remote islands to very busy ports. But don't worry, Black Flag doesn't sacrifice the classic Assassin's Creed experience for this new taste. There are still dense cities, fortresses, and plenty of jungles ripe with parkour, stealth, and lots of swordplay. It's like two games seamlessly blended into one. It's almost like Cars 2 if it were Assassin's Creed, except, frankly, even better. And the world feels alive. Guards patrol the streets, ships clash in naval battles off the coast, wildlife scurries through the brush. The beauty of Black Flag is that the game doesn't wait on you to make it fun. The world is already fun. You're just another player in its living, breathing sandbox of chaos and wonder. Now, let's talk sound design because wow, Brian Tyler absolutely nailed the score for this game. And if you're telling me this theme doesn't slap, you're lying to yourself. I'm not even joking. I've listened to this song every day for years. It's that good. The entire soundtrack is memorable, emotional, and perfectly tailored to the pirate fantasy. It never feels repetitive, never fades into the background, and it is always amplifying what's happening in the game. Pair that with the game's top-tier sound design, crashing waves, the creaking of the ship, the roaring cannons and battle cries, and it's a full-on auditory masterpiece. If you're not playing this with surround sound or a good pair of headphones, you're frankly doing it wrong. Trust me, the game sounds just as good as it looks. And just like the music pulled you into the world, the marketing for this game was pure brilliance. Back in 2013, there wasn't a ton of major pirate content hitting screens, but thanks to the massive success of Pirates of the Caribbean in the years prior, the appetite for swashbuckling adventures was still high, and Ubisoft saw an opportunity. Coming off the high of the Ezio trilogy and the technical leap with Assassin's Creed 3, very underrated game by the way, the franchise was in a prime position. Ubisoft could have played it safe with another familiar Assassin story, but instead they took another bold swing. They brought in a brand new type of protagonist, a fresh setting, and a whole new vibe. And let me tell you, it worked. In fact, this is why I picked up Black Flag. I picked it up not because I was an Assassin's Creed fan at the time, but because it was a pirate game, and that's what made it genius. It had just enough lore and familiar elements to satisfy longtime fans, and it was also completely accessible to newcomers. Edward Kenway struck the perfect balance between pirate and assassin, and during this era, the Assassin's Creed community exploded. It didn't just sell the game, it brought in a whole new wave of players, like me. Now, let's get into the gameplay because, let's be honest, that's the most important part of almost any video game. When it comes to combat, sure, it's not the most complex system, especially when compared to later titles in the Assassin's Creed series. But honestly, that never once took away from my experience. The swordplay is fluid, fast, and very, very satisfying. Every slash, every counter, every finishing move feels cinematic thanks to the smooth animations. It strikes that sweet spot where combat isn't too demanding, but you still feel powerful, and it's very, very fun. And if stealth is more your style, don't worry. Black Flag gives you just enough tools to play like a true assassin when the moment calls for it. Whether you're air assassinating a target from a palm tree or sneaking through a plantation in the dead of night, the game gives you the freedom to approach missions your way. That freedom, that choice, is really what makes the gameplay so compelling. But let's be honest, it's the naval combat that really sets this game apart. Commanding the Jackdaw, your main ship in the game, feels amazing. Ship battles are chaotic in the best way possible. Cannons are blazing, waves are crashing, your crewmates are screaming, music swells in the background as you line up your broadside shot. The ability to upgrade your ship too adds an entirely new layer of depth, turning naval encounters from simple shootouts into real tactical showdowns. Want more armor, bigger mortars, faster sails? It's all there. And the environment plays a huge role too. A sudden storm can completely change the tide of your battle. Rogue waves, lightning strikes, and even rogue enemy fleets force you to think on your feet. No two encounters will ever feel the same way. There is nothing like the moment where you disable a man-o'-war, swing a rope onto its deck, and lead the charge as your crew clashes blades with the enemy. It's intense, it's extremely cinematic, and it never gets old. So, should you play Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag in 2025? The answer is yes, absolutely. The game doesn't just feature pirates. It understands what makes the pirate fantasy so irresistible. Freedom, adventure, danger, and discovery. Black Flag hits it all, and it does so with style, heart, and depth. Graphically, it still holds its own over a decade later. The beautiful waters of the Caribbean, the roaring storms, the detailed cities and islands, they're all just as immersive and jaw-dropping today as they were in 2013. The story, timeless. Edward Kenway's journey from selfish rogue to reluctant hero is one of the most compelling arcs in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise, and maybe even in gaming as a whole. Not to mention the countless side characters that are just truly beautiful and stick with you from the moment they hit your screen. The gameplay, land and sea, is so well crafted, and I keep coming back to it year after year, never feeling like it even aged a day. But here's what truly sets Black Flag apart. No other game has ever made me feel like a pirate the way this does. From the creak of the ship below your boots, to the sea shanties echoing across the waves whether you like them or not, to the thrill of boarding an enemy vessel, it nails every detail, every emotion. You're not just playing a pirate, you actually are one. In a sea of pirate-themed games, Black Flag stands alone at the top. It is the definitive pirate game of our generation, and quite possibly the greatest pirate game to ever be made. So, if you haven't played it yet, pick it up. It's time to set sail. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. We've gotten so much support recently on the channel, and it means so much to me. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a very long time about my favorite video game ever, and I'm very glad I get to share it with you guys now. If you guys liked what you saw, a thumbs up would be very much appreciated, and if you're new here, considering subscribing to the channel for more content like this would just be incredible. We're trying to hit 1K before September, and I really think we can do it. Comment your thoughts below too. What are your favorite games? Have you ever played Black Flag before? I really want to hear about it. I love talking to you guys about all my favorite games in the comments, so drop them down there. But with that, I hope you consider picking up Black Flag, and ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the seas.